It was winters of 2017. I was almost 18,000 feet above the sea level. The temperature was minus 30 degrees with hardly 50% oxygen in the air. I was searching for the most elusive cat known to the mankind. It is also known as the grey ghost of Himalayas or the ghost cat of Himalayas. I spent there 30 days, and you know what I found? I found this. People were crazy on Facebook. Thousands of people congratulated me. And since then, I do not believe social media anymore. No one noticed that it's not real. It is fake. It was a dummy made by an old lady into the most remote village of Hamish National Park. Social media is crazy. You know what? Every day, 3.2 billion photographs are being uploaded on internet. And mine is just one of them. You imagine the amount of visual pollution we are consuming every day. Right? I mean, does it make any difference if I post an image on internet today or if I don't post on internet today? It is just a digital dust. Correct? And I did not know then what is my contribution as a photographer to the world. Does it make any difference if I post or do not post? I was clueless. I did not know. But I still kept making images with a stone in my heart. So let me tell you the journey from the beginning. When I was young, I'm still young, when I was very young, I saw a snake crossing the road. I carefully rescued the snake and released the snake on the other side of the road. I thought I did my bit. But then I overheard people talking about me and pointing at me that he's so wild. Seriously? I just saved a life. Does it make me wild? Confused. See, but today I'm not hesitated telling you that I am extremely wild. Beware of me. See, why this confusion is there? Because the word wild is often misconceived only with aggression and violence. When we say wild, it is aggressive and it is like very difficult to handle. But look at this image. Does it look aggressive to you? Is it violent to you? But it is as wild as a lion and a tiger in the forest. Or do you think this is just an image of a monkey? Not for me. For me, this is the image of motherhood. The portrait of love, trust, and affection. I wanted to deliver this to my viewers. But when I captured an image of a lion hunting a deer, everyone was impressed by the lion because he hunted the deer. But nobody was concerned about the deer. Actually, the deer is the animal who lives the fear of that 200 kg beast all his life, every single moment in his life, and it lives in a forest. Now you tell me, who is more braver? Who is alive, who lives into the forest in spite of having the fear, is braver or the lion? For me, it was a deer who was the braver. And I wanted to tell this to the whole world through my pictures. How do I do that? I wanted to become a photographer. But my father thought that I would become a Chatur Ramalingan of Three Idiots. And I was considering myself a Farhan Qureshi of Three Idiots. But he had a privilege. He could convince his father. मगर सबके अब्बा नहीं मानते. Eventually, I became an engineer. After completing my engineering, I worked for Larsen and Toubro for a good 7 years. And in 2012, to give myself a try, I left my career as an engineer and picked up the camera for the full time to become a photographer. From that day, my life transformed into an open canvas from an Excel sheet. I felt the freedom. I was free, but did not know what to do. So, as an artist, such kind of freedom comes with a fear. The fear of judgment. What if I would fail as an artist? Will there be any judgments? Yes. Of course, there will be judgment. I am not a scientist who will be backed up if I fail. I was an artist, I'll be judged every now and then. But in spite of all these possibilities and all these issues, I became what I wanted to become. And today I'm a wildlife and nature photographer. I spend most of my days into the wilderness. And as soon as I go out and talk to people, everybody gives me a golden advice. Are you a wildlife photographer? I said, yeah. Go to Africa. It is fantastic. Then I ask them, have you been there? Have you been there? Like, no. How do we know a lot of things about Africa? Because from our childhood, we are learning ABCD, where G for giraffe and Z for zebra. But unfortunately, 99% of the students who are learning this ABCD of giraffe and zebra are not going to see these animals in their entire life. But we are still learning G for giraffe and Z for zebra. What if I tell you today that G for giant squirrel, G for greater flamingos, giant squirrel, G for giant squirrel, G for greater flamingos. You would think, oh, nice, beautiful migratory birds. But not. Not every white thing found in our country is migratory. Greater flamingo is the state bird of Gujarat, and giant squirrel is the state animal of Maharashtra. So I thought, let me put this way, and I want to click my own surrounding and wanted to change the ABCD. So I started making images into my own surrounding of these animals, and after a point I understood that everybody is doing the same. Everybody is making the same images. Then where do I stand? Is there any difference I am making with those portraits I am clicking? Why everybody is making the same images? To understand this philosophy, I went back to our creative classroom of school. Everybody must have gone to the painting classroom, right, in your school? Have you ever drawn that landscape? Can you see those two mountains? The sun exactly from the center. It was not allowed from the edges. The same river, a tree and the house, and the clouds and the birds. Even if you are born and brought up in Great Run of Kutch, you have to draw this landscape in your school's creative classroom. So I decided to make a change. And I made a great painting of Great Run of Kutch. And remember that I drew this painting in the morning, because afternoon it will be just a line. The sun would have left the paper by afternoon. But everybody always drew those two mountains landscape. Why? Because we had a fear of getting less marks. Correct? And today, we have fear of getting less views, less likes. And we are just remaking the same things which are looking like a wow. Rather than creating something really original. And with this mindset, I started making images, what I today called are visual poetries. They are not just the document of the wildlife, but they are like a poetry to me. After doing all these things, it has been almost 2 decades that I have been doing wildlife and nature photography. And after spending almost this many years, the mighty Himalayas is quite close to my heart. Because whenever I go to Himalayas, I feel myself extremely tiny into the palms of Himalayas. And you know what I was targeting? I was targeting the snow leopard. And as a creative, fine art and nature photographer, I had to push myself even harder to get images which are quite eccentric and meaningful. So we walked over the frozen rivers. We climbed the snow peaks. We lived inside caves for months. And finally, after 3 years of my expeditions, I got to see the snow leopard for the first time. And these images of snow leopard became so popular. The story was so much popular that it got published in more than 200 international publications, and more than 56 countries published these stories. These are some of those images of snow leopard. The snow leopard crossing the Spiti River. The family of snow leopard. Do you remember this particular image where you have to find the snow leopard? Can you find it here? It's right there, in the center of the frame. This image paid all my bills. But these kind of experiences made me even feel closer to the wilderness, feel more conscious about the wilderness, and at the same time, I feel myself more connected to the local people who are living into this habitat. I still remember taking a shelter in a village called Yurutse in Hemis National Park. The winter temperature goes up to minus 38 degrees into this village. But it doesn't make it special. You know what makes it special? This village is a village with one house and just a family. I cannot forget my conversation with the headman of the family, the Rinchen and his son. They are so much aware and conscious about their own surrounding. They know a lot about their own surrounding. What I was thinking that is my lifetime adventure, this snow leopard expedition, like nobody has done ever. Lifetime expedition, lifetime adventure was a daily routine for him. And he was yet so humble. He was yet so calm and composed. Whenever I think about this village and my experiences, I always believe that I wish that I can see my own surrounding the way they see and live within. Every time I go to the forest, I go to the most extreme places of our country and other countries, I take a leap of faith. And during all this adventure, nature has taken the utmost care of myself. And that is why every time I return with a mindset that we need more efforts to conserve our own surrounding, our own nature. I know conservation is a very big word to discuss right now. But for me, my photographs are there to make people fall in love with nature. Because if you love, you care. And that's what keeps me going. And I'm very selfish because I love to be in the wilderness. I love to be there in the mountains and forests and everywhere. And camera is just a tool that I enjoy being into the wilderness and capture the moments out there. And it does, and these images are my language that I speak and communicate my thought to the world. Thank you.